Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with great artist, Bad Day. And the great artist in question is none other than Le Maître himself, Pierre Monteux. And the work that he's having a bad day in is Beethoven's Ninth. Oh, how embarrassing to blow that particular work. But blow it he does. Here it is. It's with the London Symphony and a rather decent lineup of soloists, if memory serves. Hold it a minute. Let me tell you who the soloists are, because they're okay. They're really okay. The problem's everybody else. Oops, what's that? Nope, it's not there. Oh, goodness, it's here. I have to find it. It's one of these 5-disc suckers. Up there it is. Here we are. Now, Monteux was actually a superb Beethoven conductor. His Eroica with the Concertgebouw is légendaire, and I selected his Pastoral Symphony as my personal favorite choice. And it's up there in the however list too. But here are the soloists: Elizabeth Soderstrom, Regina Resnick, John Vickers, David Ward, the London Bach Choir, and the London Symphony Orchestra. It just goes wrong. This was originally a Westminster recording, actually, which has only been reunited with the rest of the symphony cycle. This is on Eloquence, but since Universal got a hold of the Westminster catalog. So I'm not exactly sure why the normal Decca people were not able to get together to record this particular work with one of the Vienna Philharmonic, the Concertgebouw. The London Symphony at this period, let's be very clear, was très médiocre. They really were. I mean, Monteux was sort of whipping him into shape, but he was in his 80s. He was old. He was soon to be, among the angels. And, there was only so much he could do. There really was. And Monteux's own particular interpretive ambit was not the kind of thing he wasn't like Zell. He wasn't going to browbeat them into shape. That wasn't his gig at all. He was a conductor whose interpretive stance was one of great naturalness and ease and flow and attention produced by careful management of phrasing and a lovely approach to rhythm. But there is a very, very fine line between that kind of almost vanishing within the music and letting it play itself and letting it play itself and blandness. And unfortunately, in this particular performance, the blandness just takes over. The ensemble is very slackly held. It's often just plain slovenly. There's actually a rehearsal included in this set here, in this pile of stuff. About 25 minutes of rehearsal, including the scherzo, where he takes great pains to try and get the rhythm sharp and precise. But that isn't what happens in the actual performance. You know what he wanted. It's not what he got. It's not that the tempi are particularly slow. It's that the rhythm isn't there. And the ensemble isn't there. And there seems to be absolutely nothing he can do to set it right. So the result is flabby and tensionless. And the sonics are weird. The Westminster recording was quite odd in places. The balance between instruments in the chorus and the last movement is often quite strange. There are moments when instruments pop out of the texture, but there isn't a compelling sense of an ensemble in a space. I mean, really, just about every particular characteristic you could think about that could go wrong does slightly. Not horribly, but slightly. But cumulatively, it adds up to a performance that's greatly disappointing and really rather dull. The best part is the slow movement, which is just a bit under 15 minutes long. It's beautifully proportioned and perfectly timed and shaped a performance as you'll ever hear in your life. It's extremely right in its overall conception, but it's just not quite there in terms of execution. And in the quicker music, it's all just too slack. It's just blah. And you don't want to hear blah in this of all works, right? And that is why we have a great artist having a bad day. Happens to everyone. This particular instance is just, especially embarrassing. But hey, we have a lot of other great recordings from Monteux, and we can celebrate those and ignore this one. Pretend it never happened at all. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care.